Okay.
We see there's a few people here. Can anyone hear us? Raise your hand. We're having technical difficulties. We are. Oh, good. Jennifer, did you raise your hand? Thank you. All right. Okay, so we got some people here. Sorry about that, guys. So we were gonna get started, and hopefully, hopefully this is working. And can you see our screen? It has the beautiful pregnant belly. Just raise your hand again if you can see that. Yay!
All right.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Francis. All right, Carmela. Great. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. We were switching around computers and trying to figure out what's not working. Anyway,
technology when
we're back. Hooray!
Yay! So welcome.
Thanks,
the path
guys.
to pregnancy with PCOS.
I'm Whitney. This is Kerri.
Hiya.
And then we'll just jump in since we're a little over time here. And if you have any questions, just write them in, and we'll be asking some feedback from you. So just play along. Okay. Right.
So this webinar is all about how to go from understanding to managing to thriving with PCOS. So that's the path we're going to walk you through. We want you to be riding the waves and feeling awesome with this.
We're going to move fast, so there's lots of stuff to talk about because we have so much we want to share with you guys. So hold on to your hats, hold on to your seats, and come along with the ride with us.
Yeah, stick around to the end. We're going to tell you how you can get a copy of the slides, get the recording, and let you know how you can work more with us if that's something that you choose to do at the end. So we'll get there. So how did you guys feel when you got your diagnosis of PCOS? You can type in how you felt. All right, so we've got a confused. We've got worried I'd never get pregnant. Thanks, Naomi.
Yeah, someone said it took forever and she actually diagnosed herself.
Yeah, we see that often. We're going to go through that. Yeah, relieved to finally know. Thanks, Francis. Yeah.
And then finally having an answer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That happens so often.
Well, it's just, you have all these symptoms and then finally you get reassurance because so many people go to the doctor over and over again and nothing's really wrong with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Relief can be big.
So common.
So now you have a diagnosis. It sounds like most of you on the call, although a few of you maybe not. Living with PCOS, though, what would you like that to feel like? Yeah.
Some people don't want life to be a struggle. You don't want it to be a struggle.
To know that you can get pregnant. Yeah, definitely.
Well, someone said that I won't always be fat. I'm not stuck like this.
Yeah, that one's tricky.
Yeah. So we hear that quite a bit.
Yeah, clear skin, hair-free skin. There's some other ones. So this is us. I'm Kerri in the red.
I'm Whitney in the white there.
So we are two naturopathic doctors. We work in Barrie, Ontario, and our local practice has had a focus on women's health and fertility for many years now. Yeah.
We see a lot of women with PCOS, both, preconception before they want to get pregnant. So a few years before, they're like, I know I have an issue and I want to be proactive about it.
Yeah.
And then we also see women who are struggling to get pregnant, maybe having some miscarriages. And so we wanted to help out.
Yeah. We watched so many women just really going crazy at this whole game of fertility, especially. But for those who aren't trying to get pregnant, just the confusion with their body and the misinformation and the conflicting information, and we want to make a difference for people. That's our mission. Yeah.
Oh, back one. The confusion. So many of us have self-diagnosed themselves with PCOS and they're just confused. So what is this all about? Let's help take you from the confusion to clarity. It's a diagnosis that's kind of newer and not a lot of medical doctors, perhaps OBGYNs, haven't gone through all the the training to know, well, what tests are necessary. And
it's about staying current, and poor GPs, they have a rough life. They have to be good at everything.
Yeah.
And it is tricky for them to stay on top of it all. And then some of the OBs, I mean, they have all the GYN stuff to work with also, and they're not just fertility specialists necessarily. And the research that's coming out with PCOS is abundant and huge. The definition has changed a lot of times, and so there is a lot of conversation happening in the medical community as to what really makes this happen. So no doubt you're confused, or we're confused.
Yeah. So let's go from confusion to clarity today a little bit more.
This is discovering.
And take you to thriving, so that you know your diagnosis, what that means for you in your life, and you can be in control and
absolutely
and thrive.
Live your life and be awesome despite the diagnosis.
Yeah. And our mission is to help women understand their bodies, what's going on, and kind of empower them so they know, this is my life, okay? Let's do this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then we love helping to make babies. So that's our passion with fertility, for sure.
Absolutely.
So we'd love to know if anyone's having, what's your experience so far? If you're trying to get pregnant, having any struggles, feel free to type in, and we can chat about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. If there's anything burning that you want to make sure that we can touch on, this is the time to type that in, because we can try and make sure that we touch on all the points. And while you guys are doing that, we're going to keep moving forward here. So we want, like we said, confusion to clarity. That's the big theme of what people are needing. They often walk into our office and they start at the helpless stage.
Yeah, and then they move, less helpless, frustrated.
And they've gone on Dr. Google, and now they're frustrated.
So we want to bring you over that line, and less uncertain to more encouraged.
Absolutely.
All right.
Engaged in the process.
And empowered.
Eventually empowered. That's the real goal here. We want you to know that while this is a condition that you have for your life, it is, like Frances said, knowing that you can manage it. It's a really, you can be empowered to take hold of this.
So where are you now, if you could put yourself on that scale of the, of those words, and then, on the right side here, you're not sure yet. Let's see.
Oh, thanks, Frances. I have two beautiful boys, thanks to Kerri and the Aurelia Fertility Clinic. Yay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so this index on the side is the confidence index. So your confidence in that you can do what you need to do and you can make it through, whether that's having babies or whether that's just knowing when your period's coming. Because that for some of you is a challenge in and of itself. Yeah.
And then the PCOS path we're going to take you on today.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to do.
So we're going from understanding, so taking control, what does this mean? What am I going to do about it, to managing and gaining confidence. So what do I do in my day-to-day life that I can kind of gain confidence in knowing that I'm doing something? That's going to help you feel grounded in your life and health. And then we want you go to thriving, reclaiming your life, growing.
You're going to grow, and I would actually, and I know some of you are going to laugh out loud, but we want you to be grateful for this. We want you to find the silver lining, because it's not all bad.
Yeah. This can give you an opportunity, to, again, take control, feel empowered, and okay, well, we're going to get our health on track and
absolutely.
And get some pregnancies and have a baby. So just to catch up, Jennifer mentioned she's been trying quite a few years and looking for a better understanding with dealing with PCOS.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we're definitely talking to you. And hopefully we can give you some clues.
So this first step, this understanding, this is about, like we said, taking control, understanding what it is and how it affects your whole life. So we're going to walk you through a little bit about that.
So taking control.
Absolutely.
Being in the control tower of your life.
Beautiful. Cool. So here's the definition. 2 of these 3 must be present. So irregular or absent periods. Irregular can be you get 2 periods a year. It could be they come every, 3 to 8 weeks. It could be all kinds of different things. Or, I mean, we've definitely had patients who have not had a period for a year, which is exceptionally frustrating when you're trying to have a baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
You might have signs of the hyperandrogenism. So that means extra of those male hormones causing some signs. So you've got some acne, hair growth where you don't want it, like on your chin, your upper belly, your lower belly,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And number 2, this can be signs that we see in your body. So you may have thinning hair at the top of your head and hair growing in places that normally women don't need to worry about. Or you may not have that, but your blood work shows that you have high testosterone and high DHEA. So it doesn't have to be both the blood work and the visual. It's one or the other to qualify as number 2.
Yeah.
And then number 3, those polycystic ovaries. And they're not present. They're sometimes there and sometimes not. So it's one of the 3. The big one here, that bottom line, and the exclusion of other causes. So that is a very important bit, making sure that you have had other reasons for absent periods or other issues, the hair growth and that kind of thing, ruled out.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And then some labs. So things that you might want to do, and we'll talk about some of these and why they're important. So the androgens, again, those male hormones, if you can get those so you have a level. The vitamin D, we'll also talk about that. It's something that's associated with PCOS to actually be low in vitamin D.
What's cool about it is often we find research that says, yeah, vitamin D is associated with this condition, but raising people's vitamin D levels doesn't necessarily correct anything in the condition. But PCOS is different. Though, if we can get those vitamin D levels up, then it can make some actual changes. Yeah, which is cool.
Very cool. The insulin and your sugars. So we're going to talk about the insulin resistance. What does that mean? So if you have a baseline now, that's good. And then it can be measured again going forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is the cornerstone of what's going on. AMH, that's the anti-Müllerian hormone. If any of you have been visiting Dr. Google, you will learn lots about it. It is a hormone that's secreted by the immature follicles. So when you have lots and lots of immature follicles, which is what is so common in PCOS, the AMH tends to be very high. It's not currently used as one of the diagnostic criteria, but it is it's gaining ground in its validity. So it's something worth looking at.
Yeah. And then the lipids, so that's your cholesterol levels. We again know that people with PCOS have an increased risk, we'll talk about, is of cardiovascular disease. So knowing what your numbers are now so that we can know a baseline and know if it needs to be corrected or monitored going forward.
Yeah, it's just being aware of your risks, right?
Yeah. So again, in the understanding thing, it's understanding that fitness needs to be part of your daily life. That, it's not fair, but
a PCOS diagnosis really, it means you have to work harder at your diet and exercise than someone without this diagnosis. And not fair, but it's a reality. So the more you can wrap your head around that and just acknowledge it. And this is where later we'll talk about sort of some of that being grateful piece, because this can really set you up for a healthy life beyond having babies. Yeah. But there is a relationship between the blood sugars and the insulin resistance that we go over a little bit later. The low GI foods, the up and down, all that stuff has a huge impact on your ability to ovulate, your ability to lose weight, your risk factors for diabetes. So it's big. Fitness is huge.
Yeah. Cornerstone. So understanding that, it's going to be part of your maintenance managing plan.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the fertile piece. So, we understand maybe your periods aren't coming regularly. You're having difficulty getting pregnant, and understanding what that means. The high androgens, the male hormones, and then also understanding that the fertile piece, like once you're done having babies, like having a regular period is still important.
Oh, it's so crazy important. So yeah, all those hormones still have to be in place once you're done your fertile years. And if anyone's on the call that's not particularly keen on having babies, but a regular period is really key, and important for cancer prevention and all kinds of great stuff. So and then some of the hormones that are involved in doing some of this workup, prolactin is one to take a peek at some of the higher up organs in terms of the hypothalamus and the pituitary and the adrenals. There's a bunch of different tests, the cortisol, the prolactin, just to make sure that's the exclusion piece.
Mm-hmm.
So those are those important tests. And one of the frustrating bits that can go with PCOS is that LH, when you do those OPK strips, they measure the LH.
Ovulation predictor kits.
Yeah. And so in PCOS, LH can be high throughout much of the cycle. So those predictor kits can be a little frustrating for someone with PCOS. So it's knowing that, that's a possibility. So it may not be the tool that you use.
Right.
And so again, understanding what happens with PCOS and why these things are going on can give you a bit of relief from all of the crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then your future. So understanding the future risks. So again, it's not just about your periods now or your fertility, that there are unfortunately long-term risks associated with having this diagnosis. Mm-hmm. So although we want this to empower you, not be a doom and gloom thing.
Yeah, this isn't meant to be a, bummer bit. We just find so often women come in with the focus of getting pregnant, and that becomes their only focus in life. And we just want to drive home the message that this is forever. So just as someone who gets diagnosed with diabetes will forever need to be more conscious of their diet, you will always have to be more conscious of some of the things that are coming up. So the possibility of diabetes, cardiovascular, we already mentioned, endometrial cancer if you're not bleeding. Depression, anxiety, and binge eating disorders are much more prevalent in the PCOS community, whether that's a direct link to the hormonal shifts or whether that's a result of some of the stuff. We just want to bring that to your attention, especially once you do have your babies. Postpartum anxiety and depression they're hard. So if you're aware that that's a possibility for you, we hope that you will reach for help faster than if you didn't know it was a possibility for you. Yeah. Just like being more aware of your increased risk of diabetes, you're going to be paying closer attention to those kinds of dietary things, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So awareness, not doom and gloom, like Whitney said. We're not trying to scare you here.
No. So that's your fitness, fertile, and future. So, how in control do you feel of your situation right now? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 would be, oh yeah, my mindset, my happiness. No, I'm good. 1 would be, I am not good. We need to work on some things.
Type in where you're at on this one. Mm-hmm. Where are things going?
Yeah. And then what piece of that might be most important to you to address right now? What part of your PCOS or...
If you have that in the back of your mind as we're moving forward, then it's a little bit easier to digest all the information. And one of our taglines here is making babies without crazies. So let's keep you in a good, healthy space. And then once you figured out what piece that is that you most would like to transform right now, we want you to just take a moment and imagine what it would be like if that was taken care of,
Yeah, so which way do you want to go? This is your path, your life, your journey. Which course are you on now? Do you want to go on a different path? How would it feel? How would it feel to be more in control of your diagnosis and your life and the symptoms that aren't working for you and the infertility?
Having the confidence. Yeah. And knowing that you can protect yourself from future things. Mm-hmm. So the managing side, once you've understood it a little bit more, then it's about managing it. What steps can you take to manage this? And if you do get off track, which you will, because we all do, how do you get back onto the track and build that confidence?
Yeah.
Let's get you feeling awesome.
Mm-hmm. So ritual. First stop. So we are creatures of habit, or we really need to be, actually. There's So we talk about rhythms in a bit, but the ritual of eating. So what you eat is really important, and creating rituals around that. It's not fair, but it's true. You're always going to have to be more conscious of your diet and your exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So let's accept and embrace.
Absolutely, because fighting it doesn't typically work for people. Not in the long term. No, in short term, have a pity party by all means, but then get over it and move on. This is how it's going to be. And once you're pregnant, it's very important that this ritual of eating good, healthy food at regular intervals is very important to prevent the gestational diabetes, because that again is at much higher risk in PCOS patients.
Mm-hmm.
So we are big proponents of the Mediterranean diet, and that's the main focus of what we do in our practice, with some modifications, but mostly the Mediterranean diet is what we're looking for.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole webinar about that someday soon, and really dive into, and that's part of our program too. We'll show you about later, but so the traditional Mediterranean diet doesn't exclude big food groups, but it's all about eating healthy, whole, real, fresh foods.
Yeah.
Right. A regular, with proteins, rainbows of colors in your veggies and fruits.
Fat.
Eating some fats.
We need fat.
The olive oil.
Olives. Yum.
Yeah. And the proteins that they ate are mainly nuts, seeds, legumes, and some seafood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do eat meat in the more traditional sense, but it's not as frequent. They're more apt to have a roast beef because they're having a big party once a month than to have burgers every Friday and tacos every Wednesday, and then chicken and turkey and that kind of stuff. Again, yes, they eat it. They eat eggs. It's just not as often as we do. They think of their protein, just differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So baby steps. What could you do to improve your dietary rituals?
If there's only one thing that you are going to walk away from this and implement, eat more vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
We recommend 8 to 10 servings of vegetables a day.
Mm-hmm.
So since the average North American is only eating 2 or 3, and I think if you remove potatoes from that,
French fries,
they don't count. We're talking about the non-starchy vegetables, so the colorful fresh ones that are still full of water, and the ones that will rot if you don't eat them. And you need to just start thinking about how you can add those in to every single one of your meals and snacks. Add a bit of vegetable. And if you add a little bit all through the day, no big deal.
It adds up quickly. Yeah.
And 8 servings in total is 4 cups worth of vegetables. So you take one of those big Pyrex measuring cups, fill it with veggies. That's what you need in a day.
Yeah.
So it's not as much as you think, but it does take conscious thought. It's not something that happens easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe this week your small homework, write it down, is to try a new vegetable that you haven't tried before.
Absolutely.
What's fresh in season right now, and or almost in season. Right? And give it a try.
Yeah, for sure.
We found another study, just for your information, the reverse calorie diet improved fertility rates in PCOS. So the reverse calorie diet, meaning you're eating more of your calories in the earlier part of your days and less of your calories the later part of the day. So a big, healthy breakfast.
I think of it as like having dinner for breakfast and breakfast for dinner. Lunch kind of stays the same, but you do your biggest meal. And I mean, sometimes we both do that because we're not keen on the breakfast choices available in the morning.
Yeah.
So, you could absolutely make yourself a stir fry over rice for breakfast. Why not?
Who cares?
It's delish.
There's no breakfast police.
No.
Yeah. So knowing that, and then again, reducing your calories at dinner, and then before bed. If you're really hungry, then have an evening snack. But again, something for you to be aware of that's in the research.
And part of the reason why because blood sugars are so related to PCOS, if people are eating really light breakfasts and then they're not eating lunch until like 1:00, and their lunch is just maybe a salad with a little bit of chicken on it, by the time they get home from work, they're ravenously hungry. And then it's not about willpower anymore. This is a primal requirement to eat. And you're going to crave all the stuff that we don't want you eating, right? It's going to be the burgers and the fries and the breads and the pastas and the quick fix kind of food.
Yeah.
So this reverse calorie diet for lots of people is just about getting most of their calories in the morning so that they're not on that blood sugar crazy roller coaster through the day. And it can really change things up. So it's something to think about anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give her a try. And then your step 2 is the routine. Yeah. So again, that movement, exercise. We know that regular exercise reduces those male hormones, improves your insulin sensitivities, reduces markers of inflammation, increases ovulation, reduces depression symptoms. Yeah. So it's good stuff.
You got to move your body.
Move your body. So we recommend 30 to 40 minutes every day. And we like to say plan for every day.
7 days a week, ladies.
7 days a week.
The reason for that is if you plan on doing it 7 days a week, life will happen and you won't. Mm-hmm. So if you plan for 7 and life happens twice, you still did 5. Yay!
Yeah.
If you plan for 3 and life happens, you are going to end up only exercising maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And there's no way to really reap the benefits by doing it sporadically. Mm-hmm. You really need to do it regularly. Keep in mind, walking is exercise. Mm-hmm. Like you do not have to get a gym membership and get on some machines that you absolutely hate every minute of it, because that won't last. We all know that. So find something you like doing. Dance with your kids if you have kids. Dance with your husband if he's willing.
That's nice.
Mine not so much, but you know.
Dance for your husband.
Hey, baby bacon. Take some dancing lessons with other ladies. Do some salsa. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can move your body in a fun and interesting way. And the other really key thing we want to drive home here, because so many PCOS patients are pretty overweight or obese, we want to let you know about a wonderful study we found where they took they were obese, so that means a BMI of 30 or more, and they looked at their exercise patterns before IVF. And it was not about whether their weight changed. The BMIs were stable through this study. So again, I want to drive home, this is not a weight loss thing, this is an exercise thing. And the women who exercised regularly before IVF not only had greater pregnancy rates, but they had greater take-home baby rates. And that ultimately, you don't just want to be pregnant, right? You want a baby.
Yeah.
So this is really, really important. So stop weighing yourself to see if the exercise is working. Just let that go and just move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Move for all of these reasons.
Yeah. Find something you enjoy. Try it. If you didn't like it, try something else.
Absolutely.
There's so many ways to move our bodies and with people, and something that you'll enjoy. But again, daily. So what can you do every day and do baby steps?
Absolutely.
So, you know,
and fit it into your existing routines. Try not to start something absolutely brand new that's going to completely rock your world. Won't work. That we know also. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe you can, I don't know, park further away from the door. Maybe you can do a couple laps of the building before you walk into the building.
Sure.
All kinds of ways you can just sneak it in.
You have a conference call, just walk the hallways while you're talking.
Headsets are cheap.
I do that.
Yeah, we pace around for sure. So find that routine, see where you can put it into your schedule and make it come together.
And then rhythm. We have our lives, and we were built on rhythms, the circadian rhythm, the lunar rhythm, you know, rising with the sun, going to sleep when the moon came up, eating regularly. So all these things are important in how our body functions. Yep,
your blood sugars need you to eat at regular rhythms, and your hormones need to know when food is coming so that it will allow you to release weight and burn the fat, because it knows you're going to give it fuel soon. If you continue to deprive it of food and then gorge with more food than what is required at that moment, you're gonna keep messing up those hormones. So eat at regular intervals, no more than 5 hours between, and you need to sleep at regular intervals.
Yeah, sleeping is huge for hormonal balance as well. There's more studies about, you know, a minimum 7.5 hours of good sleep for proper hormonal balance.
And good sleep means sleeping straight through those 7.5 hours. It's not getting up here and there or having like a 3 hour here and a 4 hour. Like, no, you need to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if that's an issue, then maybe that's something you need to concentrate on as well. So again, baby steps, write that down, okay? Sleep. And then make baby steps. So if you're only sleeping 6 hours a night because you're so busy, try 6 hours and 15 minutes tonight.
Absolutely.
Do that for a few nights. And then add another 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So we don't want overhauls because you'll go to bed and you'll try to get your 8 hours and you'll just be wide awake.
Yeah, it'll drive you crazy, which is certainly not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We know there's so many things in your life you absolutely have no control over, but you can control when you eat. And I know some of you are saying, yeah, but I can't. No, you can figure it out. I'm sorry, you can totally figure it out. It might not be the typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner times, but you can find a rhythm. Even in, like we have a lot of shift workers. They find their own rhythm. You just need to find your rhythm within what you can. What you choose to put in your mouth. Now, we are not saying that suddenly you have to abandon all the things that you love and like, but you need to, you are responsible for what goes in your mouth. And when you sleep, to a degree, if you have small children at home and you are now trying for a second child, you may not have as much control over your sleep as you'd like. So you might just need to move your life around a little bit so that you can rest a little bit more. And certainly getting your exercise in, we've talked about that already. It's big.
Yeah. So definitely we've got our rituals of eating, the routine of moving, and your rhythms of your life. So putting those all together. The science of sugar. So we wanted to put this in a little bit more emphasis for you of why sugar is kind of our nemesis.
Well, and I mean, it is for all of our patients, but for PCOS patients, it's especially difficult because of the insulin resistance that tends to go with it. And too much of the insulin causes your ovaries to make more of those androgens, and then more of those androgens give you more issues with your ovulation. And so we need to engage you into eating at a much healthier way. And if the only thing, we talked about adding the vegetables, the next thing, start reading labels of how much sugar you're eating. It is mind-blowing how much. Yeah, and you think, I mean, we put this slide up because cookies, of course, everyone knows cookies have tons of sugar, but, how many of you are eating yogurt because it's healthy? And there's certain brands that, have the dancing bellies that like to promote that it's the best yogurt on the planet. And every label I've looked at, it's at least 15 grams of sugar. That's 3 teaspoons.
Wow. Yeah.
Just in a little yogurt. And then granola bars and crackers and breakfast cereals. And I mean, it is everywhere. So that it's a fairly unattainable goal. We're the first to admit that 10 grams of sugar a day is sort of the recommended from a health perspective. It's really hard to hit. But if all you did was start to track, pay attention,
be aware,
read labels, and go, oh, so then maybe you can buy the plain yogurt and mix a teaspoon of sugar into it, or add the fruit, or add some jam, or, there's all
maple syrup.
Absolutely.
Just a smidge.
Yeah. That is, it's really huge. And since 50 to 90% of you will have those high androgen levels, the insulin plays an even greater part for you guys. So, yeah, the sugars are no good.
Yeah. So again, awareness. Start maybe for the next week, writing down everything you're eating. Like we like to do a diet diary. Just opens up awareness. No judgment.
We eat sugar.
Yes, certainly do.
Our children eat sugar.
Yep.
You just try and be aware.
Moderation. Yeah. And then see where you can tweak it or replace it. Something like that.
You can't change patterns if you don't know what the pattern is. So the first step is just being aware. So where are you guys at?
How's your diet, your exercise, your rhythm? Anything you want to tweak?
Yeah. Did that open up any doors for you? This is about creating the solid foundation so that when life happens, because it will,
Mm-hmm.
you can manage. You know, what's that story? The Three Little Pigs?
Yeah. Yeah, you want your foundation to be out of the bricks, not the hay or the sticks,
You
right?
don't want to have to start again every time. You
Mm-hmm.
want to start building, and that's why slow and steady steps make a huge, huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can incorporate it into your life at home too, so you're not the only one doing it.
Imagine
So
how that would
that would
feel.
feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel a little bit, my rituals, I've got things in place that I know I'm doing good stuff for my body.
Mm-hmm.
Your rituals, your routines, the rhythms.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
This is your choice. So imagine what that is. What if you felt inspired by the foods you ate, the types of movements you did? Like, we think diet and exercise is drudgery, but what if you could just shift that? It'd
Yeah,
be
what if you
amazing.
loved and savored every minute of what you ate because it was healthy and fresh and you
Yeah.
actually loved it? It wasn't, oh, here's another celery stick.
Uh,
Yeah.
that is how you thrive. So
Mm.
this is the next step in this bit. That's this last bubble. You understand it. You have tools to help manage it. And now we want you to thrive.
Reclaim your life, step back in, go from the helpless, frustrated, and uncertain to encouraged, engaged, empowered. Okay, I have this.
Yeah.
Let's find the positive spin.
There's no quick fix, and I mean, it makes me sad when I'm on Dr. Google and there's so many people offering these quick fixes, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't exist. They are completely lying to you. So if you can start working on finding the silver lining of this, the example I like to use is my son has a lot of food sensitivities. Whitney's daughter has a few also.
Yeah.
And as much as it's difficult sometimes to feed our children, it's such a blessing because we were not able to be the lazy parents that just stopped at a fast food chain and grabbed some, chicken pieces and fries.
Yeah.
Because our kids just can't eat that. It makes them sick, and it makes everyone's children sick. Ours are just very obviously unwell when they do it. So I view his issues as a gift to our family, that we do eat really well.
Mm-hmm.
And so your diagnosis can be that gift for you. It can
Mm-hmm.
be the gift of healthy food, healthy exercise, and great rhythms, and
Yeah.
you will thrive with that.
Yeah. And not only you, the ripple effect in your life, your partner, your hopefully future children.
Yeah.
Right?
Even just your friends and your family.
Feel inspired when
Totally.
they see you doing awesome things and
Absolutely.
losing weight, looking good, whatever that is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a patient come in this week and she finally has regular periods. She's been working hard at what we just talked about, the step 2, the managing, with making the dietary changes. She's not perfect, exercising very regularly,
Mm-hmm.
and she is finally getting the benefits, but she's had to work at it for more than 6 weeks. Like it's not quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So in thriving, what are our steps? Number 1, sit still. So we are human beings, not human doings. I think this is a good reminder for everybody,
Absolutely.
not just those of us with PCOS.
Yeah.
Adopting a practice of mindfulness, breathing, meditation, or yoga. There are so many health benefits on this that we think it's so important to mention a lot.
Yeah, it's part of everything we talk about because it's fundamental to good health. It will have an impact on your sleep in a positive way. It will have an impact on your food cravings, and they've been using that with binge eating disorder quite a bit. The mindfulness-based practices have had a wonderful impact on their ability to manage their diets better.
Right.
There's just so many ways that this can help. So there's a ton of free stuff online to do mindfulness and all kinds of different meditations. Lots of books out there. So
guided imageries. Yeah. New apps for that.
Oh, there's
Easy
so many
websites.
apps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just dedicate a couple minutes. I mean, if doing 15 minutes seems horrifyingly scary right now, but 2 seems like, yeah, I could do that. Then do 2.
Two's great to
Yeah,
start, right?
absolutely.
Baby steps. We're all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mental note, do this. How can you incorporate 2 minutes of stillness?
Many of my patients find that it's easier if they do it first thing in the morning. So their alarm goes off and they literally just sit up in bed and do their meditation right then and there.
Nice.
That way the day doesn't get away from them. It happens when they do that. Whereas if they leave it.
Right. And then no one's bugging you yet. You're still in bed. Everyone thinks you're snoozing, or your partner does, or you haven't checked your email on your phone yet.
Yeah, you can sneak it in there.
Mm-hmm. And then stay tuned. So as your life moves forward and things change, so maybe you have children, we get you pregnant, and then you don't care if your period's not coming anymore. We want you to stay tuned, actually, to your health. And like we said before, it's important to have a regular period, and all those other risks of health conditions. Having PCOS gives you just staying tuned.
Absolutely. And this means monitor your food and your food intake patterns. Those diet diaries, I know for some of you who have done diets, monitoring your food can be maddening, but this is for you. This isn't to report to somebody who's going to wag their finger at you. Mm-hmm. This is just to bring awareness and mindfulness to your current patterns. And if you do this once a month, 3 times a year, whatever, to just check in.
Yep.
How are your sugars? How are you eating? Go and get your blood pressure checked and your lipids and your cholesterol and your vitamin D and all that stuff. Because this, like we said, it's forever. You need to pay attention to this stuff. So
yeah. So don't forget.
Set a reminder on your phone.
Yeah. Sure. Every year. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's a great tip. Every year. Okay. PCOS check-in.
Totally. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And then step out into your life.
Yes, you don't need to hide anymore because of your acne or your weight or the hair growth or anything else that's keeping you away from the world and from living your life. This is your chance.
Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't wait until you're perfect. There is not a weight that you are going to wake up at that suddenly you feel amazing. Like if your goal is to weigh 160 pounds, 161 doesn't feel any different. 165 might not feel different. You just move out into your life, live it on your own terms, and you have the tools. So you can go use them and be confident.
And get your support. So who do you need in your network? Is it a nutritionist or a personal trainer, or is it a naturopathic doctor or a counselor or a PCOS support group on Facebook?
Yeah.
Something so you're not alone, and you've got the support to take you to the next health goal that you want to reach. We did this seminar at a local health food store, and one of the participants had said she thought it was going to get canceled because she thought she was one of the only ones with PCOS. Mm-hmm. She had and the room was stuffed. Yeah. So she was shocked that there were so many people out there struggling with the same things, and that can give you so much peace. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Be in the moment. So again, be in the moment. Cool. Yeah, we wanted to share this study with you from the Journal of Fertility and Sterility. 8 to 10 weeks of mindfulness training significantly decreased scales in depression and symptoms of shame and defeat. So for those of you who are, we recommend the mindfulness regardless of whether you're trying to get pregnant, but when you are especially trying to get pregnant, this is big. Yeah, it's a really important piece to step in. Stop and smell the flowers. We want you to think of this right now and make some notes. How can you be more still in your life? How can you step out into the world? What's something that maybe you haven't been doing? One of my patients didn't want to get a massage because she's fat and didn't want to get and she's not obese. Whatever. Go and get a massage then, buy a bathing suit and just wear it at your own house if you can. Anything to move you forward. Yeah. How can you stop and smell those roses? It's about the small steps. Yeah. So, download a meditation app or get a blood pressure cuff or start your diet diary today or go pick up a new vegetable today. Yeah. Step out of your comfort zone. Go find, we talked about the exercise. If gym just makes you go, or there's no, just go and find something,
Start doing karate,
Mm-hmm.
start taking Zumba lessons, do anything. Just step out, meet some friends, and get into your life a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine what it would be like to be riding the waves. Most people are scared of rough waters.
Yeah.
Surfers love it.
Yeah, is it a scary adventure or exciting adventure?
Mm-hmm.
How can we ride the waves of, this reality?
Absolutely.
So what will you do? Which path are you going to take next? What's your next step?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We want for you some confidence. And we want you to have confidence in your plan. So many of our patients come in with this simple question: I have no idea what to do next. They've gone online and they've researched and they just don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. So why did you come? So you're obviously here because you have PCOS or you think you might have it. Why else? What changes do you want to make in your life? Maybe if, and this is the path to pregnancy with PCOS. So if you're on that path and not pregnant yet, what small steps can you do now? And maybe how can we help you to get farther down that path?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to move above that line. Enough with the helpless and the frustrated and the uncertain. We want you in that engaged space. We want you feeling empowered and to stop struggling so much.
Definitely. Yeah, waiting for the magic pill or a magic doctor to solve it all. Supplements are supplements. We do know there's some great ones out there for PCOS. It's not one size fits all. And they're supplements. They're not the core foundation of what you need.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously we do work with them as naturopathic doctors.
Yeah.
So, in our fertility program, it's all about the reveal, figure out what's going on.
Yeah. What are the numbers for your PCOS?
Mm-hmm.
Then we want to take you to renewing, take you from average to awesome. Let's dig into your diet, to your routines and your rhythm. That number 2, that step is huge.
Yeah, let's renew you, your eggs, your life.
Yeah, for
right?
Sure.
Yeah. So then
you get to reclaim your confidence and your power and your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to just share a quick story about a Julie who we know, patient of ours who saw us is still seeing us for a few years, preconception wise. Okay, she knows she has PCOS. She's overweight. She's a big girl too, like really tall. But she did the work. So she did regular workouts. She worked on her diet. She moved. She did acupuncture to help her cycle. She actually lost weight, and it was slow over time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She gained confidence in herself, and tons of her other health concerns went away.
Mm-hmm.
Like not just, hey, now I have regular periods. Like she was sleeping better. Her mood was better.
Yeah. Overall life
so
way
good.
better.
And then we just got a phone call that she's pregnant.
Yay!
So excited. She's still not size 6.
No.
No.
And maybe she never will be. And
I don't think she will be.
No, but she's pregnant now.
She's happy.
And she's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is even more important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So fertility, tranquility, how to make the baby without the crazy. This is our program. This is what we take our patients through, and we help them get to where they're trying to be. Help them figure out what their bodies are saying. Help them understand why they aren't pregnant yet, and get them on that plan. So they have a path. They have step by step by step, and we walk them through that.
Yeah. So this is something that if you are interested in working more with us, because we love helping people get pregnant with all different kinds of reasons why you're not pregnant yet, we are offering a free fertility strategy session. So if you want to type into the box there your phone number, we can give you a call to set up that fertility strategy session.
Yeah, absolutely. And just give us let us know when you'd like us to call you to set that up as a rough idea, what time of day is best to be in touch with you. And one of us will give you a shout, or both of us, depending on our day. And then we will get that scheduled for you and send you some more information via email.
Yeah, we'll talk about, so in that session, we'll talk about what's going on for you. And then, if the program is right for you, the fertility tranquility program, and how, what we can do to help you get on the path.
Absolutely.
Make a baby without the crazy.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have been great. Thank you so much for all of your comments. It's been a pleasure. Again, our apologies for being late, and we will send you a copy of the recording sometime in the next few days. It takes a little bit to get some of the bits together, and you know where we are.
Yeah, awesome. Hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you later.
Take care.